After some time tinkering with the cinematic vlog settings on the new Sony ZV-E1, I think I may have found the best color profiles to use if in fact you want to vlog cinematically. Now, I say that somewhat jokingly, but to be fair, the name has less to do with some arbitrary label of cinematic as a gimmick, which is so overused by video makers here on YouTube, no judgment as I've also done it, but it is more meant to reference the precise aspect ratio of 2.35 to 1 CinemaScope, which was a format first presented in theaters by 20th Century Fox to save a crippled movie industry in 1953 as a mechanism to fight off the gaining popularity of TV, which at the time had a small, squarish 4:3 aspect ratio, so they thought this might also be a gimmick to get audiences back in the theater, and it worked. And it has now become the established widescreen dimensions for cinema, as well as we now get wider shaped TVs. So when you go into a theater, this wider than 16:9 field of view is what you get. Now, the reason you are seeing black bars at the top and bottom is because I exported the video in 16:9 to illustrate the point, but you can export the video in 2.35 to 1, which is technically more cinematic. So recently I found some reels from films I worked on, but I didn't work on this film, and you can see that it's a square, but it looks distorted. Again, this is because Fox pushed the technology forwards by using anamorphic lenses to stretch the image. So let me de-squeeze it for you 2 times, and bam, you get a cinematic frame. Okay, sorry, little history lesson over, but for me the main reason you may want to shoot in cinematic vlog mode on the ZV-E1 may have nothing to do with the aspect ratio, but because you get to play with some of these unique color combinations. But I have found only a few that are worthwhile and some that are just bad, so let me show you. So let me just quickly go through all the profiles so you can see for yourself before I show you which ones I actually like the most. So we're gonna start with S-Cinetone in auto. So this is good, this is clean, this is typically what I'd be using. But also, I like the gold, ocean, forest. The next one will be clean. So this is clean auto, clean gold, clean ocean, clean forest. The next one is chic. So this is chic auto, chic gold, chic ocean, chic forest. Now the next one is fresh. So this is fresh auto, fresh gold, fresh ocean, fresh forest. And then finally, we have mono, which is their black and white, and there is no other customization tint to this. Okay, I'll show you them more in real world setting. Okay, bye. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is tell you my settings. I'm in 4K, 24 frames per second in S-Cinetone in auto, and this is 10-bit. So one thing you need to know is that my ISO is 100, which is the base ISO for S-Cinetone, and I would only raise that up to 2000, which is 20 times that if I was in a darker condition. I would never go in between 100 or 2000 because you're going to get more noise. The only way I'd correct exposure is with my shutter or my variable ND. It's bright outside, so I'm hiding underneath a tree. I was going to lean on this tree, but these are like legit pointy spikes. So I'm trying to vlog in public, and I hate vlogging in public, so I'm going to hide under a tree, also to regulate exposure. So this is S-Cinetone. Let's get into the other settings. Okay, now I'm in S-Cinetone Gold, which is a bit more gold as you'd expect. And I actually like this profile, and we'll probably use it just as much as S-Cinetone in auto. Okay, so now I'm in clean auto, which I actually like a lot, and I'm not sure what it is about the color combinations here, but it doesn't work in the forest, ocean, or gold. The clean auto, to me, is the best one in the clean. Let me show you the next one. Okay, so this is now chic gold. Now chic is a little bit more flat, which I like, but that means you sort of need to punch it up with another color. It's flatter and cooler, so by using the gold, I think you tend to give it a bit more sort of bite to it, and a bit more, there is a vintage, almost nostalgic look to it, and I actually really like it. So this is chic gold, and it's the only chic that I like. All right, I'll show you the next one. So the next look I have is fresh ocean. Now fresh is a bit warmer, so you can balance it out by cooling it with the ocean, and I really like this sort of more orange and teal effect. I've got good skin tones. The blue sky, if it wasn't so bright, you can see is really quite blue. So this one I'd probably use If I'm like on a holiday and I really want a nice punchy image, it's quite nice and quite agreeable for both skin tones and nature. Okay, I'll show you the last one. So the final one is mono, which I really do sort of like, but I find it too magenta or blue. And I think that's pretty easy to fix in post. You can just change the tint or the white balance. But I find it okay, and look, it does make everything look a little bit more, dare I say, cinematic. But it's too saturated and too blue and magenta for me. So let's see if I can fix that. So the cinematic vlog setting may be more stupid in name than it is in functionality, and I think I may end up using it more than I thought I would, because throughout this whole little vlog test, I think I fell for that chic gold setting. It's really interesting in a way that's hard to describe. But did you have a favorite? Was there any that stood out for you? And do any of you plan on vlogging like it's 1953? Now, thank you all for your time and attention. I have a bunch more videos about videos on the way, so consider following along and subscribing. All right, thanks guys. Bye y'all.